Hello students, welcome to PNYC. So today we will be seeing the ninth chapter of your syllabus, that is your social health and the various factors that affect it, along with the mitigation strategy. Mitigation strategy as in how do we counteract stress and what can be done. A slight note before we begin with this chapter over here is initially, of course, if you see the older versions of your class 10 syllabus, this chapter was not there. But then, owing to the current lifestyle, the pace of living, the amount of examinations that you people, take. So this has been of intention included in your chapter. So please don't take it lightly. Of course, you have to score marks, is what we understand. But apart from that, it would be a great achievement if you could try and implement these strategies in your life, because this is not only going to help you for your 10th but also for your future endeavors and even other forthcoming educational years to come. So without wasting much time, let us begin with what exactly is meant by social health. So we know that apart from this concept of physical health, okay, you gym or you do yoga science or you work out or you go for a job, that is all fine. All of you, most of you must be playing for your inter-school sports also, I hope. If not, please enroll yourself because it's a great activity to do apart from academics. So let it be whatever indoor game, outdoor games. So a lot of them do help to rejuvenate your mind and body both. Now, why am I saying mind? See, because it is not only that your physique that is being put into use when you play a sport. Let us say very laborious or sports requiring high energy, like say for instance batting in cricket, for football, volleyball, basketball. So they require a lot of energy. Apart from that, they also require you to focus, right? And then you always have to calculate like, okay, oh, he will smash my ball. Oh no, I have to do a basket. Oh no, I will get a penalty if I do that. Oh, mistakenly I should not be touching it with my feet. So on and so forth. So all of these factors do take into consideration some amount of mental math also. So not only is the physical well-being responsible, but also your mental well-being. So your social health is affected by a lot of factors, both physical and mental. And these days there's a third and fourth dimension to it, that is emotional or even spiritual portion. So let us see the three major points that we'll be focusing in this chapter. The first is your social health. The second is factors responsible for social health, and the third is stress management. So, as I told you already, what do you mean by social health? So, social health of a person is being mentally and physically sound, in simple words. The textual definition is out there in your textbooks, so I'll not reiterate it. So, as I said, apart from you being physically fit, strong, immunity-wise boosted, whatever, your mental status, how patiently and how well can you handle stress, that is also of utmost importance. Now, when you do this, see, for instance, for your standard 10, you will be taking your SSC board exams next year, right? So you will have to appear for more or less 10 subjects depending on how your school is, like depending on what composite or concrete languages you take, so on and so forth. But roughly like 10 is like 10 subjects and all. Of course, including the subtypes of Math 1, Math 2, and Science 1, Science 2, etc. So, all of them are going to, let you do a lot of time management and plan. Because, see, you will be obviously biased towards subjects that you like, but you can't keep on studying them, right? They are not your principal subjects. You are no graduate or postgraduate student that you will have that as your principal subject, and then you can, overlook or sidebar the others. That is not an option. So here you are supposed to excel in almost everything possible, right? Of course, there are certain limitations of you as an individual, we as teachers. It works either way. But you have to give your best for all the subjects, isn't it? So now when you do this, you might find certain hurdles. They could be your time management, the timing of your tuition classes, the timing of your school, so on and so forth. Social, your domestic factors, guests coming at your place, you having a comparatively smaller house, people who actually come from slightly lower strata of the society, or those who are, struggling with your parents give you the best, but they are struggling with their day-to-day chores in life. So then at times if you have limited spaces, so on and so forth. Here I'm not trying to categorize anybody, students, okay? I'm just trying to give you examples. See, every year after your 10th results, you have certain inspirational stories that come. Oh, this guy or this girl started under the footpath or the pavement light and she came first in the taluka or she came first in the district. Then this guy, his dad was a farmer and he had borrowed a loan and they stayed in a small hut. Despite all of that, he succeeded with so many marks. Isn't it? So all of these inspirational columns are very common if you read the Marathi newspaper or any other newspaper these days. So now why are they successful? Obviously, you are the haves and they are the have-nots if you compare. See, you being able to learn through this e-learning medium itself is an advantage. I hope you agree. These days, everybody does have a smartphone. But then there might still be certain students whose parents themselves do not have it. Somehow they have to borrow and then get a cell phone for their kids to learn, so on and so forth. So, but in the cities, you see, most of you by now do have your cell phones. Okay, even at a time when I was studying, honestly, I did not have a cell phone until my graduation. So, but when my counterparts and peers by then obviously had it since a long time. But anyway, situations are different for everybody. The way you overcome them is more important. So, in your social health, there are a lot of factors that affect the social health and the downstream consequences. Now, over here, the factors responsible for this, I have shown you this ray diagram or this blowout chart over there. And then how do you manage it? So, to this point, we'll be coming later. Now, let us see what are the major causes. So, in your textbooks, if you see, there are a lot of other points that are given. So, I have just pulled out the major ones. So, what are they? First is your education. How easily accessible is this education to you? So, for instance, you are viewing this. Do you have good electricity and good connectivity of internet? Because you will be viewing this through the cell phone, right? So, you need either of them. Then, how better or how good are your finances? Now, that is important because if there are paid subscriptions or if there are tuition fees, see, all of them may not go to aided schools, right? So, when you have got this as a major deciding factor, it greatly affects the mental health of not only the students but also of the parents, ultimately affecting your social health. So, your finances, the surroundings in which you stay. If you stay in an area in which there's a lot of commotion, every day there are quarrels, there are fights, there is abuse. You will literally find yourself aghast. You feel like you should just leave and flee this place as soon as possible. Or if you stay in a vicinity near some main road or in highway. So this one, which I found right now. So if this is very continuous, you will be pissed off, isn't it? So that also leads to stress. Imagine you think that, oh, I'll just grab a mug of coffee or milk and then I'll soundly study for the next 1 or 2 hours with a minimal break in between. And then you have this continuous honking of cars and bikes on the road. You won't be able to focus, isn't it? So that is one more factor, the surroundings in which you stay. And the social health of the surroundings themselves is also a major decisive factor over here. Then your residency. So this goes hand in hand, the area in which you stay. I don't mean to say that all of you should rush to posh areas or stay in some very elite class societies. Of course, that's not my intention. But then your neighbors, your surroundings, your friends, all of them do affect. So if you have neighbors who always, turn on the television on a very high volume and do it, if they listen to music, if a drummer or a band person is staying next to your house, then you're helpless, right? Because they will practice, they will have their own justifications to be, and you will have your own. So you have to make these. Either you have to wake up early or stay up late, whatever. So these factors do affect. Political conditions, of course, yes. Tomorrow I tell you that after 10th I will be having some direct government scheme named XYZ in which you will be recruited. And then the next government comes and then they nullify that scheme or then they scrap it off. You will be again distressed, isn't it? Because you were aiming for it. You said you were thinking that, oh, my condition is not good. I will probably enter it through this mode and try for a job and then eventually do my graduation. But now that scheme is nowhere. So such conditions do take place time and again with changing governments. Or whenever the political condition of your state is unfavorable, just as it was in Maharashtra a few days ago, a few months ago. So then the social treatment that you get. Now tomorrow, if let us say you go and ring the next neighboring doorbell and ask them to please put down their volume of the TV or the music system, and then they're very stern and harsh on you and they turn you off. It's a direct to the kind of a how will you feel? You are very gentle, you approach them with an intention to seek help, but then they turn you down in a very bad way. This is your social treatment that you receive. I don't say that they did it out of intention. If they did it intentionally, it is very wrong. If they themselves are frustrated, you never. Then the social safety. After that, the jobs. So jobs, as I just mentioned this example, of some scheme or job opportunity that the government wants to implement, and then the forthcoming ones reject it or they do not implement it at all. So that is what is meant by this job insecurity. And then, of course, certain basic needs. We say that food, shelter, and clothing are the basic needs of man, isn't it? To have a physically and mentally sound well-being of the individual or the person. So if you have to struggle extreme limits just to get your basic necessities, okay, then that is the problem. Imagine you stay in one room, okay, with your parents. So it is an attached double scheme. Okay, one room. There is no hall. There is no kitchen. So in that room only, you'll have one kitchen ota. You'll have some bedding or some a small sofa set, and then everything is there itself. You basically wake up, you sleep, you eat, you study everything. So now imagine if you sit and study at night. Your parents are toiling day in and day out. They want to have a sound sleep because of your, because of you need some external light source, right? Because of your blowing, they won't be able to sleep. Or the other way. You are an early riser and they are late workers. Or their job demands something that needs them to wake up midnight or they do a night shift. They wake up, that disturbs your sleep cycle. Or vice versa. So on and so forth, there are many factors and I'm sure you yourself could add on to this list. Okay, if you think. So these are some of the major factors that affect your social well-being and social health presence. There is an activity given in a textbook at the very beginning, which asks you to categorize friends as self-interactive, very talkative, and completely shy or non-responsive. So that is a good activity. So that I believe rather than categorizing everybody else in the room, you should retrospect, like what kind of person you are. Okay. See, here we are just trying to understand. So this is a type of speculation or observation that we are trying to make. Here we are not measuring anything in terms of good or bad. So if a person is shy, he is very bad. No, that is not the intention. We just want to categorize how responsive. See, he could be shy, but if his social health is excellent, bingo, no worries. So he could be an inspiration. But then if you're shy and then somebody comes to talk to you, they approach you and then you don't respond well to them. You turn them down by giving irritating answers or you frown faces at them. So that is something which is problematic. Then we say that you need to manage your stress. Your social health is gone for a toss. So after this, let us see certain social factors which are responsible, which are given as major headings in your textbook, which cause derailment of your social health. And after that, we will be also checking certain, modern day problems or issues that people face in terms of social health management. So now, let us see in brief the various factors that affect your social health in detail. So, first is your mental stress. Second is your addiction towards certain addictive elements and entities. And the third one is your incurable disease. So what do I mean by mental stress? So, in today's world, wherein, of course, we have to take into consideration the social background as well. I told you in the previous chapters, we are exploding in terms of population. We are not at all taking into consideration or planning to stop our breeding potential. So, mental stress arises due to a number of factors like cutthroat competition in jobs, getting admissions to good colleges, classes, and unemployment. Despite being well off or being in the top 3 million, if you are a studious student, if you're a topper, despite that, if you don't get jobs, you will actually be stressed out, right? So that is one major reason. always, I do not intend to, blame unemployment for this, but then there are limited job opportunities for certain, strata of education that you receive. And then every year students keep on pouring. Just take your own example. You are writing your 10th. So many thousand lakh students from Maharashtra will be writing this exam. The next year, again, they will be writing. So you're adding up to the population, right? It cannot be undone. It is not like Control C that you do during your write-up in MS Word. So what you do is there, it's permanent. So once you do your engineering in civils, let's presume, for example, going ahead, you will do that. Some of you become YouTubers, some of you will become bloggers, some of you will become travel experts. So there are already existing people in that field, right? So for you to get over there, establish your foot is going to be a task. So that also does cause a considerable amount of mental stress. Then some parents force their students to, specifically get admitted to certain colleges, certain so-called T class of colleges and schools. So in this situation of do or die, the child is severely affected. So through this video, I intend to, urge all the parents to please let the students be themselves. Through this, I don't mean to say that you let them be addicted, let them be, haywire, or like howling and shouting like hooligans on the road. But don't stress them out with your ambitions. So if somebody wants to become a doctor, fine. You can give the required conditions for him or her. But then if he wants to become a travel professional or a food blogger, which are so-called slightly hatke careers that we are having upcoming these days, and then you force him to become, no, you should become a hotel management expert, no, you should become a CA, you should do your MCom, then you should go for BCA. All of this, we should stop and shun to a certain extent. At times, I believe it works either way. On the rare occasions, the parents force and then the student still, the child or the pupil still flourishes out to be a successful person in that profession. But such occasions are rare. Most of the times you see that people are usually forced into the professions of others' choice. And let us not blame the parents. It's a peer pressure also. You are a group of 12 students, just say, let us say I have 12 students sitting over here. Now one of them wants to offer engineering. The rest, all of them, if they have got this herd mentality, they will also offer engineering. So that is not. You should understand what fits, survival of the fittest, theory given by Darwin. So where best fit you find yourself to be. Somebody, okay, you did science, you're good at it, but somebody might be an excellent fine artist, or he might be an excellent embroidery artist, whatever. I'm just giving you examples. He could be an excellent painter, an interior designer, no matter how good you are at math and science. So pursue that career. Who is stopping you from doing that? And then, earning money in a very short span of time. So I remember one of the incidences wherein I had been to a place in Pune itself. So he is a very distinguished professor, IAS officer. So he conducts classes for the students who are in the preparatory phase of their IAS and civil services. So then he usually has a Q&A session just as we have during our lectures or after any other lectures, since that's a customary. A default. So then people actually ask him in Marathi, कमीत कमी वेळात जास्त पैसे कसे कमवाल? So translating it for the non-Marathi viewers. So it means that how can you earn maximum in the least amount of time? So to which he had given a very satirical answer, which I couldn't remember. So he said that, I could answer this, but most of the ways which lead to money earning this way lead to jail. So, making money in a very short time span through sheer hard work is difficult. Everything eventually goes. That is known as a Kaizen rule. Now, certain ways of earning wealth are what? Cheating somebody, begging, borrowing, stealing. Ultimately, they are going to stress you out because you cannot cheat yourself, right? If you have stolen somebody from something, you will, you'll very fluently tell it to others without any hesitation. No, I received it. It's a gift. But you will not be able to cheat your mind that you stole this from some ex-person, which led to your mental stress and self-guilt. Then next is addiction. So once you do all this, or you are subject to all of these conditions, you want to get high. High as in Typically, I don't need to elaborate. You all are smart kids, Gen Alpha, Gen Z generation. So people do resort to alcoholism, chewing tobacco, cigars, smokes, bikes. I mean, bikes is a very hard thing to talk about. But any form of addiction, in terms of major categories, is your alcoholism, resorting to drinks and taking alcoholic beverages in any form, or taking nicotine and its allied products in any form. Whatever. These days people say, no, no, it's not deleterious. We just go there for a status symbol and to show off ourselves in hookah parlors and all that have come up in the city. I don't think that is something which should stand out as a social cue. You, in fact, go and help the needy. There are so many animals loitering on the streets which are homeless. Why don't you go and volunteer for them, help them find potential adopters, and make them find some refuge or shelters? So many social problems we are having. We are still, though we don't like ourselves being called as a developing country, we're almost on the verge of developed country, but we are not yet developed. There are so many issues that we face. There are so many construction sites, every street here around Pune or any major metropolis will find that there are construction sites. So they have their kids. Do you think they go to school? Have you ever seen their kids go to school? You people like you could come together and voluntarily go and teach them. There are so many things to do, which I will be coming later on in terms of stress management as well. So there are so many things which you could do which will show you off from the rest of the crowd. But no, we want to do some addiction because that makes you feel high. Oh, we are spending so much on a glass of vodka or wine, and that is a good thing to do. No, absolutely not. And take it from me, at least at this stage, this thing has got no age bar. But if you're doing it wherein you are in your Vidyarthi Dasha or in your student life, it is an absolute big no, because you never know wherein your feet will slip and then you'll get addicted to that thing. And first of all, why do you need it? You don't need such things to survive. Do you think any kind of addiction is essential for survival? You just started doing it out of three reasons. One is either so-called stress that you had. Then the second one is your curiosity. And third is fun. Oh, you just went out with the crowd, you had this sheep mentality. You started trying, you started liking, and then you developed a habit of it. So such things should be strictly shunned from. Then everything goes on ahead leading to certain things. Hello. So these 3 points are actually a culmination of one into the other. So mental stress leads to addiction, addiction leads to incurable diseases. So incurable diseases are your first is your HIV, that is human immunodeficiency virus. You don't contract AIDS immediately. First it is the HIV infection. The life cycle and all you'll be learning in detail if you choose bio later sometime in life. So that leads to a very deadly disease known as AIDS. So first you have an HIV infection, then you have AIDS, that is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and then you have what allied diseases which accompany AIDS, which worsens your living and makes living hell. So what are they? They are these leprosy, Kaposi sarcoma, so on and so forth. Because now since your immunity is compromised, you will be contracting diseases at a much faster rate. And once you get the disease, they will be persistent in your body. Okay, it will be very difficult for you to get rid of them. Apart from that, diseases or disorders of the gut, you might receive or experience frequent diarrhea or dysentery. All of this is a resultant of your compromised immune system. Then other STDs, like if you get a hepatitis virus, like HPV infection. Sorry, not HPV, hepatitis B infection, HBV, not TB. Then your syphilis, gonorrhea, urinary tract infections, which we collectively call as UTIs. All of them actually worsen your physical well-being. Okay, and mind well, it is not something that you will make a bad or do some concoction drink and you'll be fine. They actually need very high antibiotics, high doses, frequent doses, so which is going to cost on your pockets as well. Again, leading to stress. So As I said, once you enter this in some way, it is a vicious circle and then it goes on and on and on. And then it is very difficult to fall out of it. So the best remedy and the advice is to not fall in a trap to it. So there are many ways in which you could mitigate or prevent, or even if you are suffering from stress, you could slowly and steadily try and reduce it. So these treatment modalities, how do you treat stress? How do you actually come up with stress management? So that is very important. So that I will be explaining a bit later. So now let us see what are the other common media and excessive modern technology use associated stresses. So the first is your physical problems. So in this you have your reddening of the eyes, skin tight, skinniness, retinal problems, itchy eye, dry eye. With these summers, which everybody has now remembered for a lifetime, okay, they were so worse this year. They are, I mean, it's not ended yet. So then you have certain joint pain issues. If you excessively use mobile, especially people who put phones in their front pockets, maybe due to excessive radiation or whatever, there are hypotheses that it might affect your heartbeat, it might end you up with certain heart problems later in life. Joint pain. The way you view YouTube movies and all, just tell me, do you sit straight and upright? Person looking at you as a third person will not even feel you have a spine. They will feel that you are, those A chordata class of animals, which we'll be seeing in animal classification. So, the way you sit with your leg up, with no spine, twisted on the sofa and the couch like a cat. So it feels very cozy in that pose for a few moments, but after that, it might lead to permanent physical deformity if you are used to sitting in that position. Then, self-centric approach. Remember, I told you to classify friends or retrospect if you're shy, this and that. So you become very self-centric or eccentric, as it is called. Oh, this is mine. This is my judgment. This is my marker. This is my good. I won't let anybody touch or use it. So this also is a very bad insecurity. Then what it leads ultimately, because all of you are using smartphones, you do UPI payment, you just scan and then you pay. And you pay as if Google pays for you, isn't it? So then there is a lot of increase in the number of cyber crimes. So if people are aware, the government recently last year issued a circular that there will be a limit on the UPI payments daily for merchants and daily users, and for high amount payments, like if I'm not wrong, and above 1 lakh or something in that range, you'll have to do it stepwise. Or there will be a two-step verification, like the receiver also has to confirm. I'm not an expert on this, on economics, but yes, definitely what I know for sure is the government has increased the stringency level to reduce the fraud. Recently, it so happened that I have a one colleague. So what happened is, without his or her consent, their card was swapped and a lot of money was debited, though the card was lying in their pocket. Now, how did this card duplication occur or what fraud occurred? We have no idea. The complaint has been raised, but we have not yet found a solution or the criminal. So things so on and so forth happen. So there is an entire paragraph or a bullet list in your chapter given how to prevent cyber crimes. Most of them you either turn down. You get those EPR calls which are auto recorded. So please do not share your IP, please do not share your customer ID. And you just turn it down, thinking, okay, oh, we know this. What's the need to listen? Oh, it's cracked. But what happens is, in a jiffy, imagine, I tell you to log in at say it is around 6 p.m. and you are on the road. Your dad asks you to make a payment. And then during this payment, you get a call, okay, saying that, oh, I'm speaking from this branch of your bank and I need so and so details. So you will feel, oh, I'm making a payment, so it is a verification process, so it is obvious. And then in that jiffy, you just, are vocal about it. You went it out. Your customer ID, your mobile number, this and that, and you're gone, you're doomed. They will clone things, clone as in, they will duplicate your whatever, accounts, cards, and they will swipe off your cards and you will be devoid of money. So such things happen, okay. Hacking through Bluetooth is also common. If you travel through locals or trains, accidentally if it is on, if you pair it, So every day, it is like that post-parasite relationship. Government increases this tendency. We try to take as many steps possible, and the hackers are trying to outsmart us. So we should not let that happen, and we should exercise maximum caution at our end. So the detailed points of how to reduce cybercrime, all of you know, they have been very well bulleted in your textbook. Please go through them, like not sharing your OTPs, not sharing your passwords, not sharing your customer IDs if you have your. Like for you people being in 10th, usually you will not have your own bank accounts by now. But this is for future, okay? Because in future you will be the responsible citizens of this nation, and so on and so forth. So you'll be having a lot of things to do. So coming back, so about this topic of cyber crimes, there is been a very obvious list. Please go through it. It will be very useful for you. Now, apart from that, let us come to our main topic of interest, okay, which should be of interest to all of us, and which is stress management. Mind well, class, this interesting topic, you could actually share your insights with your parents and your grandparents also. I know they are much better and best at doing this, but then this has got no age bar. Let me tell you. So this could be done at anybody in any stage. So the 2-3 obvious things that you could do to manage your stress is practicing your hobbies. So practicing your hobbies not only helps to rejuvenate your mind and give you a mental break from the normal monotony of say studying or attending tuitions or classes, but it also helps you to find yourself in a different way altogether. Many a times people who take up hobbies as professions later in life come up to be very successful people in that field. Because, see, it was obviously and always viewed as a hobby. But now when you try and monetize it, okay, for your living, you can actually achieve that position what you aspire. We see so many singers today. I mean, I'm not here to criticize or, categorize anybody. But then you see some people who took it up as their hobby and they started pursuing it as a profession, you see where they are. On the contrary, you see those who just started singing out of some social quotient or social stigma, and then they just wanted to do it, and then they could not reach those heights, or if they were forced. So usually, for singing and all this is not a very good example because all of us do sing to rejuvenate their hobbies or practice their hobbies. But there are other professions, like typically academic ones, like being an engineer, a CA, a doctor. So if you actually have this intrinsic interest for economics, political sciences, you must do it. But then if you're just doing it, oh, I have this subject, oh my god, I have to study this now to get marks because my parents put me over here, I'm doing this, I don't belong to this place. This is a problem. So this you need to figure it out at early stages or then try and shift gears as soon as possible. So coming back to a point is practicing hobbies. It could be making rangolis, painting, sketching, as simple as doing wildlife photography or doing flower photography. If you have a good lens, a camera, good lens, with this I do not mean to say Samsung S24, iPhone, Oppo, all these. I don't mean intend to say that you go and drag your parents for high-end or high versions of mobile phones. But even with whatever resources you have, you can still bring out the best of it. Then laughter clubs, which usually few people make fun of and end up laughing, which is a good therapy for you people, is many times you see these Nanani parks, they will host these grandparents and they will be laughing, because they have these laughter clubs. Because that's a medicine for you, it's very good for your mind. So, of course, natural laughter by cracking jokes, watching certain entertaining movies, typically of animation like, the Charlie Chaplin or Hardy Brothers, watching Mr. Bean. So if it actually induces natural laughter, it's the best medicine. Then effective modes of communication. Now I am talking to you. I don't intend to say that I am the best orator. There are many more. There is an ocean of excellent orators out there on YouTube, on TEDx. Please listen to them. There are many good podcasts that certain channels give out, right? On YouTube, or there are certain scientific channels also these days, the communities have. So they have got excellent oratory skills. Some of our politicians, they were very good in their English or Hindi. The way their speeches, they are still archival. You can still watch them on YouTube or Rajya Sabha TV, so on and so forth. So you just name the profession and it is there. So effective modes of communication, not only I mean over here by AV mode, audio visual, but it is also writing. Certain artists just stand out, isn't it? There are so many novelists out there, Marathi or Hindi or even English. But for Hindi, I mean, I could have got this bias, but Munshi Premchandji or certain other authors like Mahadevi Verma for the poems, Harivansh Rai Bachchan for his poems again. In Marathi, you have got Lisa Khandekar. Like so many people, like I mean, I'm getting flooded with names right now. Then for English, Jane Austen. I mean, class apart, the way they write. So there are so many ways of communicating, not only through the AV mode, but also through the non-AV mode, that is writing. Then, what has the government done, or what is the government doing to mitigate stress? Is that they have got certain foundations and NGOs which help them manage such groups of individuals who are stressed out and or addicted. So there are two things. So one is the Salam Mumbai Foundation, okay, and the other is Alcoholics Anonymous. So as the name suggests, the Alcoholics Anonymous is for people who are alcohol struck or alcohol addict. And this unified movement against tobacco was a scheme of the government through which the Salam Mumbai Foundation was born. So they have their schools, I mean, around 200 centers in Mumbai, and if I'm not wrong, around 1400 or 14,000 all over Maharashtra. So they are doing a fantastic job out there by preventing students, high school students, from getting tobacco addict. Like they chew pan, tobacco, because it's cheap, you get across in any counter. And look at the irony. The government made it compulsory to mark the cigar boxes or the chewing tobacco cards or sleeves with images of people being affected with the cancer after being addicted to it for long. So they have got these oral cancer. It's a very disgusting sight to look at. People having bulging tumors out of their mouth. Their teeth have fallen. Their teeth have been encapsulated in this mass of tumor cells. Very, very horrific to see that. But you see, the human tendency, despite having all of these, depictions, you still voluntarily go pay money and buy it. Now, how disgusting and ironical is this? Is for you to decide. So, but the government nonetheless is always trying to help us by launching such schemes through the NGOs or their people, the government themselves. Like we have this unified movement against tobacco. And then there are certain other government schemes as well. So Salam Foundation, Alcoholics Anonymous, so all of them have, some of them are private, some of them are semi-private, but all of them are here to make this world a better place of living for these addict persons. And the best way to overcome this is counseling. So now for counseling, you need not go to somebody always who is, very highly paid, who will demand high money. He will have a very posh office setup with excellent interiors, a good smelling, room freshener that is there, a very excellent aura that he or she has around. And then you are looking at this, you will feel, oh, we have taken very good counseling session and I feel better. And then when you go back, it's back to square. Well, by doing all these, actions, I do not intend to again stereotype anybody or make fun of anybody. But what I mean to say is, see, there are so many schemes, there are certain government helplines, there are certain websites, or there are offices offline in person where you can go and take a counseling session. Now, this might not be possible for everybody. So, you have to pay some amount to the counselor. Arey, bhaiya, wo bhi to itna pad liख के आया है ना. Now, that is his profession. So, he will demand money for it. But which you can't deny, and then that is not some grocery shop that you can bargain and then things will be negotiated. So there might be certain occasions where you very genuinely want to be counseled, but you cannot afford the fee. So then in such cases, the chief fix it, you better look up a mentor or a counselor of a similar age who is contemporary, or somebody like say me or my age, like whom you can call Dada, Bhaiya, Didi, whatever. So with whom you can vent out everything, you can just pour out your heart without having the problem of hesitation or, having this fear of whether they will judge you or not. Let it be some kind of physical stress, abuse, mental stress, abuse, whatever you think, whatever are your questions related to whatever, your own financial status, your mental well-being, your, sexual maturity issues, puberty, which we discussed in the chapter on human reproduction. So, I just want to give an array of topics that you could discuss, like as good as you like a pickle in today's meal, or how do you cook this thing, to what kind of apparel or clothing you should wear, what is the dress code, then what do you think others think of you, or why are you becoming jealous for somebody. So many things to talk about. If you feel that you are in stress of any kind, it is always best to talk to certain counselors who are certified counselors, or if not, look up to mentors. And of course, see, everything is not paid. Government counselors are subsidized. But obviously, the government things are subsidized. They are for people like us. But then you have to be patient till the time your turn arrives. Because we are largely a middle class country, right? Not many people are rich. So a lot of people will be frequenting such places, right? So you have to keep your patience. So with this, we come to an end of this chapter. And as I said, here I do not only intend to give you some teachings. I always say that I share experience. I don't think I'm a great guru or somebody. It is just that I am slightly academically senior to you. This is always my thought behind. So, and that is why I'm standing here and telling you about all of this. So, please take home things that we learned through this chapter, which will help you not only to surpass your 10, but they will always be there with you lifelong, even for your future medical, not medical, academic endeavors. So, with this, I wish you all a very good luck and a very good social health well-being for all of you. So, with this, we end this chapter. Thank you and goodbye. Until the next session.